time, same place tomorrow. I'm going down in flames. Same time, same place tomorrow. Pretend it's all okay. Same time, same place tomorrow. I'm going down in flames. Same time, same place tomorrow. Pretend it's all okay. Thank you. We're really honored to be a part of something like this. We got the call last week to come up and play, and it was an obvious yes. We're very supportive of this movement and everybody involved in it.
Did you let them know? Did you let them know? We're playing another, we got an hour with them.
Oh yeah, we're playing for 2 more hours.
So thanks for being patient.
Thanks for being here.
Now we're waiting until it gets full.
We're gonna get the acoustic set next. Just kidding. But no, we're really grateful to be here. We all come from small towns around the state, and we don't think that the ideas of this movement are just regulated to the people in the cities like some people think so. This is for everybody. So thank you for being here. We got one more song. If you never heard of us, we're a band called Michigander. We are your band. We'll be back in a couple months. See ya. And give it up for Dylan and Jake. And give it up for Jake's dad. Give it up for the Detroit Opera House. I think that's it. Give it up for yourself. Thanks, y'all. We'll see you around.
Let's hear it for Michigander. everyone. Our main event will begin shortly. We are excited to have you here with us today. This campaign is a movement of hope that treats everyone with respect and kindness, regardless of political beliefs. If you're here today and disagree with us, you are still welcome. We only ask that everyone allow the program to continue so all voices can be heard. If at any point someone disrupts the event, we will politely ask them to leave. Thank you again for being here and for being part of this movement with us. All right, folks, put your hands together and please welcome to the stage, representing the tenacious 12th District, Detroit's very own.
I told them they had to let the music simmer. It had to, right, Rosalind? Come on, it had to simmer. It had to just play out there. Welcome, y'all. Welcome to Detroit. I want you to know, if you are from surrounding communities, Michiganders throughout, and Detroit's not your home base, I said welcome. Welcome to the most beautiful, blackest city in the nation. I want to make a shout out to my amazing team. Tlaib is up there. Give them a big shout out. They've been out there working it, turning out the vote. So you all know Detroit. Yes, she's a she. She has taken so much hurt and so much pain. She has taught me to speak truth to power even if my voice shakes. She has endured the most painful negligence, not only here in our own state, but really from the nation, the racism. We have shown people around the nation what hurt looks like when our government turns their back on us. Detroit's community mothers, many of them are here today, know what it means when we say nothing stops Detroit. So I know the haters are watching, so I need them to know. I say bring it. Bring it to our city. I'm going to tell you right now, to all those pumping money into my neighbors' mailboxes and the airways, know that we ain't stupid. We see what corporations have done to us. We can't breathe, literally. Our air is being poisoned. DTE and consumer energy are extracting from us while leaving us in the dark. Big grocers have the audacity to put AI and surveillance technology in Kroger's, Walmart. Shame on them to jack up our prices. And you all, the sicker we get, the more money Haley and Cherie's campaign donors make. Remember that. In 2019, folks thought electing Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and myself was impossible. We ran on no corporate dollars, abolishing ICE, reparations. We ran in 2019 on reparations, Medicare for all, taxing the rich, increasing the minimum wage, stopping the endless wars, and yes, we ran on a free Palestine. We won even when folks dismissed our movement, and they did. They thought that we were nobodies. We weren't going to go anywhere. When the Democratic establishment policed us and said we couldn't do it, it wasn't just underestimating Alex and me. They were underestimating all of you. The corporate assault on our families is strong. We feel it. We feel it every day, and they think that they're winning. They think they can gaslight us. They think they can allow their supporters to be Islamophobic, and we couldn't see it. But the more of us right now, there are more of us than them, and you all know this. And God, they don't understand. They're just making us more angry, more mad, and you know what that makes us do? It makes us get out there and work. honest today because I was telling Councilman Denzel McCampbell today, my fellow comrade, I said, you know, I'm angry today. I think it might have been the fact that DTE, there was a power outage last night, no joke, in my neighborhood in Grand Mount Rosedale. Woke up all sweaty. I was mad. So you all, any of the haters, you can blame DTE for this one. So I want to be honest for a minute. The same folks who attack us are the reason that Trump's in office. No, it's truthful. They reject people like us who don't want the crumbs anymore. We don't want to wait for change. We need it now. So when the folks come out and try to box us in and they say, oh, well, you know, you all this and that and this and that. Well, the fact that you haven't moved with urgency is what literally is why people feel betrayed. Right now, our country is hungry for urgency. These are years we can't get our children. These are years we can't get our children back for them. They can't wait any longer. The past few years, I watched corporate Congress member next to my district, who represents the neighborhood that raised me, Southwest Detroit. I watched him not call his residents back. Ask Councilwoman Gabriela Romero. She knows. They call our office when Cherie don't call them back. And yeah, Cherie, we know your billboards were a lie. They take, you know, he takes money from ICE contractors while they terrorize us. The cryptocurrency, he takes money from the crypto industry that is funding Trump right now. He takes money from the genocide enablers, DTE. So I need a real partner in Congress, a father of three. Give it to me. I'm telling you, I know what it means to be a father of three under the age of 5. Whew. A father of three who knows we need to move with urgency. Donovan knows what it feels like to live paycheck to paycheck. He leads with compassion and strong faith. Donovan and I know what it feels like to smell like rotten eggs. And I get emotional about this because our babies are still living with it. I'm going to be 50 this year. And I think to myself, our babies are going to play outside and they smell like rotten eggs and they think it's normal. Because the pollution is so bad. His lived experience will result in transformative change for the 13th Congressional District. Cherie just voted for another $3.3 billion to support the government of Israel's genocide when I know Donovan McKinney knows that money should be sent here for clean drinking water, health care, and child care. Together, we are more powerful than you can imagine. These right-wing politicians and corporate Democrats and their donors underestimate us every single turn. But I've seen the tireless work you all have put on doors, phones, building coalitions, putting town halls together to change our country for the better. And I know we're going to win. When they're motivated by fear and hate and using literally, I see Cherie darkening the face of Congressman State Rep Donovan McKinney. When I see supporters of others literally using Islamophobic tropes to attack our people that we support just because they support Medicare for all. We are motivated instead by love and compassion and fairness and justice. That's what we are. Our neighbors, for all my fellow neighbors here, my Michiganders, my comrades, my siblings in this room, know that direct human contact is powerful. And I say this to you because they're always going to have more ads. They're going to always have the more mailers. But we have the people. And I'll tell you, the direct human conversation that you can have, nothing beats that, not even a lawn sign. I know you all like the lawn signs. But when you talk to each other, neighbor to neighbor, it helps move through the noise. Direct conversations and engagement is what they can't buy. It works. In 2019, I knocked 55,000 doors with a beautiful team. I can't even remember how many messages and mailers and everything that we scraped by. And we ran out of money in July and August. I don't know if people know that. And we won in 2019 by 900 votes. And I'll tell you, that 900 votes, right? And I tell everybody, we made history. I didn't run to be the first, but you all sent the first Palestinian American woman to Congress, and we made history together. So we must win. Our babies are counting on us because we have no choice. So let's make Donovan McKinney the next congressman from the 13th Congressional District. Let's welcome my brother, my next partner in Congress, a guy that won't back down to support Medicare for all, and he won't send a dime to support genocide. Donovan McKinney.
Must have on the depot, rap nigga, he a freak though. Man down, call like ambulance, tell him breathe, bro. Nail a nigga to the cross, he walk around like Tizo. What's up with these jabroni ass niggas trying to see Compton? The industry can hate me, fuck them all and they mama. How many options you really got? I mean, it's too many options. I'm finna pass on this body, I'm John Stockton. Beat your ass and hide the Bible if God watching. Sometimes you gotta pop out and show niggas. Certified boogeyman, I'm the one that up to score with him. Walking down whole time, I know he got some hoe in him. Pull on him, extort shit, bully the flow on him. Say Drake, I hear you like I'm young. You better not ever go to cell block 1.
Woo! Man, this is a beautiful crowd. What up, though, Detroit? Woo! Man, this is powerful. All of you all in here, man, this is so inspiring. And thank you for waiting in the long lines to get in here. And I know the weather's terrible right now, but thank you all. Seriously, it means so much. So my name is Donovan McKinney. Currently, I'm one of your state representatives. I'm running to represent you to become your next congressman in Michigan's mighty 13th district. A little background about myself. So I grew up right here in the city of Detroit with my mom, my brother, and my grandmother. We moved over 13 times across the city. We stayed in cars, we stayed in shelters, sometimes out in the street. And there were some days where we didn't know where our next meal was going to come from. But there was no shortage of love and prayers that got us through those tough times. Now I have a beautiful wife at home. We're raising 3 amazing children, all ages 4 and younger. So they will be here today, but the weather's kind of a little crazy, so we kept them at home. I got 2 baby boys, 4 and 2, and our youngest daughter, who's now just turned 11 months old. And you guys want to know, you want to talk about the affordability crisis. The biggest expense in our monthly budget is what? Child care. So we pay more in child care for our oldest son than we do our mortgage. Just think about that. And we want our people to have these kids and raise these young families, but they just can't afford it. And so that's why we are fighting for free universal child care. I currently represent the poorest house district in the state of Michigan. $14,000 is the median income of my current district. When you break that down by 12 months, that's a little over $1,200 a month. What can you do with that? The cost of living is skyrocketing. And now I'm running to represent the 5th poorest congressional district in the nation. The 5th poorest. And what's top of mind for a lot of our people is, can they really make it and survive? And so this is what we absolutely need more now than ever. This is why I'm running for Congress, because not only all of us deserve better, the mighty 13th deserves better, but this entire country we call America deserves better. Am I right? Right now, we can't even breathe our air outside because of the dirty air from wildfires caused by our climate crisis. Caused by our over-reliance on oil and gas. Like DTE, our monopoly utility company, that keeps raising our rates while also leaving us without power. What sense does that make, y'all? After multiple grid overloads and the storms from last week, we had people without power for more than a week. And while we have seniors right now still without power and dirty air leading to our hospital emergency rooms being filled, we still have far too many community members going without necessary medical care. The Affordable Care Act, some of you heard me talk about the story of my mom, saved my mother's life. I want to make sure every family has access to health care, no matter if you have a pre-existing condition or not. But we can't get Medicare for all or free universal child care until we overturn Citizens United. So that's why I introduced legislation called Taking Back Our Power in the state legislature, to ensure DTE and insurance companies can no longer buy influence in our politics, to ensure that corporate monopolies like DTE can't donate to campaigns. And guess what? Organizations and people on the ground took our legislation and created a ballot initiative called Mop Up Michigan. They collected over 600,000 signatures statewide. And coming up on July 24th, the State Board of Canvassers will vote to put it on this year's November ballot. And if it gets on this year's November ballot, it's going to pass with 80% of the vote. You want to know why? Because if you're a Democrat, Republican, Independent, it doesn't matter. We all understand that corporate influence in our politics is just too much. Am I right? So we are running a grassroots campaign that is for and by the people, not taking a dime of corporate PAC money, from DTE, APAC, crypto, or any special interest. We are going up against a multimillionaire incumbent, and we have them running scared. So they are spending huge amounts of money trying to stop us. They know that organized people beat organized money every single time. So we got to make sure we are organized, because a campaign like ours, a campaign like Abdul's, a campaign like AOC's and Bernie Sanders and Rashida's ensures that it's going to take all of us to succeed. So it's the 3 T's I like to say. We need your time, your talent, and your treasure. If you have any time, please come out and volunteer on our campaign, whether that's knocking doors, making these phone calls to reach as many people as possible. If you have a hidden talent that none of us know about, please share it with the campaign. And if you have a little bit of treasure, and I know times are hard, cost of living is skyrocket for a lot of us, the pump, the gas, oh man, the prices at the pump is crazy. But if you have a little bit to spare, dig in a little deeper and help us out and donate to our campaign, because that is what a people power campaign is all about. So last thing I'll say before I introduce the next speaker is that we are building the biggest and baddest coalition in the country. This is a nationwide movement, y'all. But it's coming to Michigan, am I right? And so we got folks from faith leaders to congressional members, state, county, local elected leaders, grassroots organizations, people on the ground helping to support our campaign efforts. But we also have the labor movement, y'all. Our unions, baby. And the biggest and baddest union, even though I come out of the SEIU, I want to give a shout out to SEIU. I come out as a labor organizer from that union. But this is one of our biggest and baddest unions, and we all know them, the UAW, y'all. And I want to tell this quick story because when this man first got elected as the international president of UAW, his first day on the job, he had to go to the bargaining table. First day on the job, because they were literally negotiating one of the biggest contracts in the history of the UAW. And guess what? They won. And so this next man pretty much needs no introduction, but he's the current and future. We're going to reelect him, right? International President of the United Auto Workers. Y'all make some noise for Sean
Fix off of this paper before I lay him. But you won't take the sting out these words before I say them, because ain't no way I'm going to let you stop me from causing mayhem. When I say I do something, I do it. I don't give a damn what they think. Man. Man. There is nothing like being in Detroit and the sounds of Eminem. Man, nothing. And there's also nothing better than being in a place where we all come together for a common cause. To reverse the worst wealth inequality in the history of this country and take back power for the working class. You know, on behalf of 1 million active and retired members of the UAW, welcome to a proud union town. You know, Michigan is a sacred place for the UAW. It's the home of the sit-down strikes of the 1930s that lit the labor movement, lit it on fire, and gave birth to the American dream. An American dream that said working class people could have a dignified life. A life where you could raise a family, you could own a home, you could take the kids to the doctor without worrying about breaking the bank. You could retire knowing that you were going to be okay because you had a pension and health care that you earned. You know, but over the last 40 years, corporate greed has wreaked havoc on our communities. And the billionaire class turns around and tells us it's our fault. They tell us workers make too much money. They tell us pensions aren't realistic. They say that we don't deserve the dignity that we fought so hard to win. And then they told us that it wasn't the billionaire class we should blame. They told us to blame immigrants. They tell us to blame people that look different than you, or love different than you, or pray different than you. And now that same billionaire class is pumping millions of dollars into our politics. All you have to do is turn on the TV here in Michigan, and you see corporate and AIPAC-funded bullshit blanketing the airwaves. The UAW had to send a cease and desist letter to Dark Money Super PAC running a TV ad with the UAW wheel and President Obama attempting to mislead voters. And you think about that. The same corporations and billionaires who have screwed working people in this country over and over again are funneling dark money organizations. They don't have to tell you where their money comes from, so they can blanket the airwaves with their bullshit and try to mislead working class people as they vote. Is that okay with you? No! Hell no! Just like it's not okay that 12 billionaires and now a damn trillionaire own as much wealth as the bottom half of society. While working class people struggle to afford groceries, struggle to keep the lights on and put gas in the tank, let alone pay for child care, medical bills, and rent. Let me ask you a question. Don't we deserve better than this? Don't working class people deserve dignity? You're damn right we do. And if there's one thing I've learned in my 32 years as a member of the UAW, it's that the working class can only win what we're willing to fight for. This is a pick-a-side moment. And the only reason we're in the position we're in America right now is because too many Democrats can't decide who the fuck they want to stand with. So we need to make sure that whoever represents this state in Washington, D.C. brings the same fighting spirit that runs through our veins in the blue-collar towns across this state. And the fighter our union wants in the U.S. Senate is Abdul El-Sayed. You know, a few weeks back, Abdul spoke to our UAW Constitutional Convention, where over 1,000 UAW delegates gathered in Detroit. UAW members from all over the country and from every part of Michigan, from Detroit to Flint to Three Rivers to northern Michigan, and they were on their feet. And these people also come from all over the political spectrum. We have members that are Republicans. We have members that are Democrats. We have members that are independent. We have members that don't give a damn about any of these parties. But the thing that was cool that day is they were all saying the same thing after Abdul spoke. They were saying, this guy understands me. This guy gets me. We love this guy. That's because working class people are done with politics as usual. Politics that tell us we can't think too big. We can't expect too much. We can't be too bold. It's the same thing the boss tells workers all the time. Don't ask for livable wages. Don't ask for good health care. Don't ask for a secure retirement. Don't ask for time off. Don't ask for dignity. And we know that's all bullshit. It's the same thing the companies told us in 2023. And then tens of thousands of auto workers had the courage to stand up against the big three and say, enough is enough. We struck all three companies at the same time. And we fought and we won. It's what American Axle Workers said last month. 1,000 members of UAW Local 2093 went on strike. They never wavered, and they won their demands. They fought and they won. Also in the last month, right here in Warren, Michigan, 1,000 UAW Local 400 members of Bridgewater Interiors let the company know that if they wanted to fuck around, they were going to find out. So the company decided to give workers a raise that they deserved, that they demanded. They fought and they won. You know, the political class always tells us not to ask for much. Don't ask for Medicare for all. Don't ask for billionaires to stop buying our political system. Don't ask for enough money to afford a damn life. Well, Abdul is calling bullshit on that. He's building a real working class movement that, like our union says loud and proud, we deserve better. That's why the UAW is going all out in this Senate primary and is going to fight like hell for Abdul, because we know Abdul will fight like hell for us. When we elect Abdul, he won't be alone. He'll be joining a growing group of fighters for the working class. Another kind of political movement that is possible. It's one that's built by, of, and for working class people. And our next speaker knows all about building a movement. She's inspired millions to actually fight, to run for office, to go on strike. She's helped build one of the most inspiring political movements that I've seen. And it's an honor to stand shoulder to shoulder with her. I've learned from her, and I know everyone in this room has. So Detroit, please join me in welcoming this badass fighter for the working class, our friend, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
Hello, Detroit! How are we feeling tonight? Good evening. It is such a pleasure and a privilege to be here with you all tonight. And I want to first thank UAW President Shawn Fain for the kind introduction. You all have one of the foremost labor leaders in America here in Michigan, right here. And what Shawn has accomplished in his time leading one of the most powerful unions in America is incredible. The stand-up strike of 2023 improved the lives of auto workers and showed the rest of us what organized labor can do when workers are united in the fight for dignity. Thank you, Shawn. And I remember back then when UAW rolled out their demands for the stand-up strike, and everyone said it was impossible, unreasonable, naive, and then you all got it done. I also want to thank my sister Rashida Tlaib. You all are so lucky to have her fighting for you in Congress. Every day in Washington, she is throwing down for Detroit and Michigan overall. And I'm especially happy to be here with my dear friend and the next United States Senator from the great state of Michigan, Dr. Abdul El-Sayed. Detroit, we know why we're here. We are here because in November, Democrats have to win a majority in Congress. We have to win a majority in the House, and we have to win a majority in the Senate. And we need a firewall against an administration that is hell-bent on tearing down in 4 years what it took this country 250 years to build. We saw it just a few nights ago in Trump's primetime address. And for those of you who wisely tuned it out, Donald Trump spent most of his speech rehashing the same big old tired lie that he actually, quote unquote, won the 2020 election. And we know he will stop at nothing to stay in power. And we know that it has nothing to do with true or false. They will do everything they can to try to overturn our democracy in November. And if we do not take back the House and the Senate, we're going to make it a whole lot easier for him and his cronies to do just that. So, Michigan, we have no time to waste. The question before us is, how do we win a durable majority? How do we get out of this pattern that we seem to have been stuck in for years? This state knows it well. 6 elections started off, 6 elections in a row, starting in 1992. Democratic presidential candidates won here in Michigan. In fact, it wasn't even particularly close in most of those contests. But then in 2016, something shifted. Not just here in Michigan, but across the country. Not just with Democrats, but also Republicans. And to many political watchers, it seemed that the laws of political nature were totally upended. But it happened in all directions. And that's also part of what Bernie's campaign spoke to 10 years ago as well. And that's also what Trump's victory in the fall in this state represented, this oscillation in response to the failure of our political system to address the needs of working people. These earthquakes and aftershocks. 2 years after 2016, we had another aftershock across the country. And as a part of that, I went from being a waitress to winning a primary against a 20-year Democratic incumbent who was meant to be the next Speaker of the House. So I get it, Michigan, because my frustrations, precisely because the stakes of Republican leadership are so high, precisely because of their corruption, their discrimination, the gutting of voting rights, I understood the stakes of cleaning up my own backyard back here at home. That we had to look at our contributions and why people like my family and my neighborhood felt so failed by the party in charge of championing the working class. and saying, how can we be better? In fact, we have a responsibility to be. And all of us have been trying to get a handle on what all of that means ever since. And we do know some of the many contributing causes and factors. Like, yes, one of the causes, deep causes, have been bad trade deals that hollowed out states like Michigan. Another cause was the record income inequality and the Great Recession spurred on by unchecked greed on Wall Street. And yes, yet another cause was the suite of shameful and quiet bigotries waiting in the shadows in pockets of our country. Racism, sexism, fear of our neighbor that seem to gnash their teeth the strongest the closer we get to uniting across our differences. All of these things are true, and yet there's more. Because it was also due to a political system that had, over decades and across parties, become totally enmeshed in a financial and electoral politics that stopped serving working people. Our entire electoral system has been consumed by big money. And thanks to this Republican administration, Donald Trump, and this corrupt Supreme Court, it is now worse than ever before. So instead of putting voters first year after year, with little exception, Washington now elevates the desires of lobbyists and powerful corporations at the expense of the rest of us. And what does that mean in practice? Real wages are falling behind. The prices of everything from groceries to houses are skyrocketing. Our water, food, and air are being poisoned to pad the profits of major corporations. And the accountability for all of this, for hurting everyday Amerians, has been far too little, if there is any at all. Which brings us to right now, Detroit. There are things happening in this country that people everywhere are shocked by. A government of, by, and for the oligarchs. Masked ICE paramilitary agents shooting Americans in the street with no further questions. A president and administration so corrupt that they don't even bother hiding their self-dealing anymore. Members of Congress and Trump insiders getting themselves rich on insider trading and online betting while you can't even make your rent. A genocide in Gaza committed with American bombs and financed by our American dollars, while our kids here at home have to ration their inhalers because politicians tell us that health care is too expensive. And now, big money is flooding our political system more than ever before to make sure that none of this ever changes. Because that's always been their reliable playbook. Special interests, the people making us sick, are dump millions of dollars for their candidate, flood our airways with ads and our mailboxes with glossy postcards a couple weeks before an election, and they just think that people will go their way. But when the stakes are so high, when more people than ever are living so close to the bone, eventually we have to ask ourselves, is the answer to our problems to turn to the same playbook over and over again? A playbook that says in order to win, Democrats must rely on the same dark money, 50 million and counting, from the same people that backed 35 election deniers to Congress who voted to overturn the 2020 election. A playbook that says in order to win, we need to show deference to Trump by thanking his same ICE agency that has shot Renee Good, Alex Preddy, Lorenzo Salgado Araujo, and Johan Sebastián Durán Guerrero. A playbook that says in order to win, we must be defenders of the same status quo that is drowning us and tells us the aspiration to change our government and the ambition to even try is foolish. No, it's not foolish, Michigan. It is the responsible and right thing to do. I believe Michiganders, Democrats, Republicans, and independents believe that good leadership swings for the fences. Good leadership gets big money out of our system. It takes on the corruption that blocks common sense solutions that lift working people. And by the way, it knows that in order to do that, it helps not to take their money in the first place. Pundits want to dismiss this idea as naive. But I want to tell you something. The last time Democrats won in the House, won our largest majority since Watergate in 2018, 185 Democratic candidates of all backgrounds, rural and urban, progressive and moderate, ran by not taking a dime in corporate money. It's not naive. It's how we win, Detroit. And it's not just how you win a primary, it's how you win a general election. We can't be in cahoots with the same money that is oppressing us. It's not naive, Detroit. It's what we need, and it, most importantly, is what you deserve. You deserve a government that answers to you. And yes, compared to how things work today, admittedly, a government that listens to you more than it listens to big money is revolutionary. To take on big companies, to take on the big companies scamming you, lowering your bills, and putting more money in your pocket is revolutionary. To fight corporate greed everywhere we find it. To make healthcare a guaranteed right in the richest nation on earth. You deserve a politics that treats the disease and not just the symptoms of what brought us Donald Trump. That doesn't negotiate with or placate corruption, but one that defeats it once and for all. You deserve it because you matter. But we all know that it will not come as a matter of course. It won't come by waiting patiently, nor by making the same decisions that we have always made. This is something that we have to choose, Michigan. It is something that we have to elect to do. And right now, there is a very clear choice before us. We can choose $50 million and counting in dark money trying to buy the state of Michigan. Or we can choose Dr. Abdul El-Sayed. But the choice is up to us right now. Michigan. Michigan, you can choose a different future. It's waiting in your mailbox right now, and it will be waiting for you and your friends at the polling booth on August 4th. Because as much as we may be appalled at what is happening, ultimately, our democracy is our responsibility. It is our choice. And if we want a different politics, we have got to elect different politicians. And I came here to deliver one simple message, that Abdul El-Sayed represents the politics of the future. And if we want to not only win a Senate majority, but win a Senate majority that means something new for us, that does something new for us, if we want to pass the legislation that we need, and if we want to build a coalition big enough to actually change this country, then we have got to elect Dr. Abdul El-Sayed to the United States Senate. Abdul is a son of Detroit, and that means something, because we also know that his integrity did not begin with Abdul himself. It began with his family and in the workers who built this city. It's in his parents and in the parents who kept their families together. Well, rather, it's in the parents here in Detroit who kept their families together through bankruptcy and disinvestment. In the neighbors who kept showing up for one another when powerful people had written Detroit off. Abdul doesn't just bring those values to Detroit, he carries those values with him day in and day out. And you all knew him before the rest of the country learned his name. You know that when this city was coming out of bankruptcy, when the consultants and the creditors lined their pockets to pick this whole place clean, Abdul came home to rebuild its health department as a public health official. And you know that when kids who were struggling couldn't see the blackboard, he wasted no time and got them glasses. Detroit, Abdul is a man of integrity and discipline. Make no mistake about it. He is a man of faith, a man devoted to his family and to his beautiful daughters. Abdul is a good man. It is why he earned the endorsement of the UAW, an institution that knows Michigan workers. Because the UAW looked at all the candidates in this race and chose him because they have fought alongside him and they know him. And I want to close with this, Michigan, because this moment right now is bigger than ideology or party. It is one of country. I want to tell you what they're whispering about Michiganders out in Washington, because I've heard it myself. They're saying a state like yours and a people like you can't elect an American like Abdul. Because when we talk about electability, and I ask, what is it? Do we really think that Michigan doesn't want to guarantee health care to every American? I don't think that's right. I believe that Michigan wants to establish health care as a right to every person in this state. Michigan wants to strengthen our unions in every state in America. Michigan wants to establish a government that is finally no longer for sale. And those are all what Abdul believes. So when you strip away the euphemisms and concerns at these highfalutin cocktail parties, it's not about what he believes. It's about who he is. And it's about their assumptions about what they think Michigan is. And we know they're wrong. Not only that, but in a moment like now, we do not get better by accepting the logic of this administration. We do not get better by shrinking our idea of what America is and what we're capable of. We don't do it. We turn this ship around by showing how big we actually are as a country. We turn this ship around by rising to our aspirations and our greatest ideals. We will never win the heart of this country by shrinking from who we are. And Abdul El-Sayed is America. We all are America. And so when they ask you what the politics of the future looks like, you tell them this. It looks like a doctor who answers to people and not big donors. It looks like Detroit. It looks like an absolute and unwavering commitment to healing this country. And when we win Michigan, when we send Abdul to the Senate and take back that House majority and fight like hell for the Senate in November, and when we give Mike Rogers the boot for one last time, and we tell Republicans that your money's no good here, and we make them answer for $1 trillion in cuts to our health care, to our Medicare, to our Medicaid, to our ACA, we tell them that the answer to them cutting our health care is Michigan sending a public health official to the United States Senate. And we're going to do it by standing with every worker in this union fighting for a fair contract. We're going to do it making sure no child in Michigan ever drinks poisoned water ever again. Thank you, Detroit. God bless you. Now, it is my honor to introduce someone who has spent his life trying to bring us all together. Someone who has given voice to the frustrations you feel and the future you deserve, and a movement we can build together. Please welcome Senator Bernie.
Let me thank everyone in this great crowd for coming out to make sure that we elect Abdul El-Sayed to the United States Senate and Donovan McKinney as the next U.S. Congressman. And let me thank Rashida Tlaib for the great work she is doing in Washington. Sean Fain for being one of the outstanding labor leaders in the United States of America. And Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez for inspiring young people all over this country. As I think everybody here knows, this Senate election in Michigan is not just a contest between two candidates. It is much, much more than that. It has now become an election of national significance, and it is an election of historical significance. Why is that? Why is the whole country looking at this election? In fact, people all over the world watching what's going on here in Michigan. And the answer is that this is an election which will show the nation where the AIPAC and other billionaire-funded super PACs can spend tens and tens and tens of millions of dollars to buy a U.S. Senate seat. Or whether within a corrupt campaign finance system, the voices of ordinary Americans, the people of Michigan, can prevail. That is what this campaign is all about. It is about democracy versus oligarchy, and we are on the side of democracy. As all of you know, all across this country, from California to New York and a lot of places in between, working families are standing up and saying loudly and proudly, enough is enough. Now, a lot of that has to do with growing opposition to a president who is an authoritarian and who does not believe in the rule of law. It is opposition to a president who is a narcissist, and if he had his way, half of the buildings in America would be named after him. It's about a president who is a pathological liar, who doesn't know the difference between truth and lies. It is about a kleptocrat who has increased his wealth and the wealth of his family by billions of dollars since he has been president. It is about a president who gave $1 trillion in tax breaks to the top 1%, and then threw 15 million low-income and working-class Americans off the health care they desperately need. And don't kid yourself, many thousands of those people will die unnecessarily as a result of what Trump did. But the opposition that we are seeing all over America is more than Donald Trump. The working families of our country are increasingly tired of establishment politics, and they are tired of the same old establishment policies. They are tired of living in a nation, wealthiest nation in the history of the world, where 60% of our people are living paycheck to paycheck, while at the same time the billionaire class is getting richer and richer. Working families are tired of putting in long hours on the job while they struggle in America today to feed their kids, to pay for health care, to pay for housing, and other basic necessities of life. They are tired of a handful of greedy billionaires with incredible power controlling our economy, controlling our media, and controlling our government. And they are sure as hell tired of wealthy campaign contributors and their super PACs controlling the Democratic Party. The American people understand that this country faces enormous crises. and they want change, real change. And brothers and sisters, that is why progressives have been defeating establishment candidates all across the country. And the oligarchs are getting nervous. And they should be getting nervous. Within the last year, we have won mayor's races in New York City, Zohran Mamdani. We've won mayor's races in Seattle, Washington, Washington, D.C. We have won congressional elections and Democratic primaries in Arizona, Ohio, Pennsylvania, California, Montana, Colorado, New Jersey, and New York. And brothers and sisters, despite all of the money that the oligarchs are throwing into this election, we're going to win here in Michigan as well. In all due respect to Haley Stevens, everybody, no. In all due respect to Congresswoman Stevens, everyone knows that this is not an election between her and Abdul El-Sayed. This is an election between Abdul and the billionaire class. That is what this election is about. A billionaire class which has already, and there are 2 weeks left to go in the election, has already spent $50 million against them. Now, I want everybody here throughout the state, people turning on the TVs and they see all these ads, I want you to ask yourself a simple question. Why are the richest people in the country spending tens and tens of millions of dollars to defeat Abdul El-Sayed? Why does the billionaire class feel that they need to outspend them in this election 12-1? 12-1. What are they afraid of? And the answer is obvious. They understand, quite correctly, that when Abdul is elected to the Senate, he will work with me and other progressives in taking on the greed of the billionaire class and fight for an economy and a government that works for all of us, not just the 1%. That is what the billionaires are afraid of. And hey, billionaires, you should be afraid. So what is it? What is it about Abdul that frightens them so much? Let me tell you some of what it's about. Abdul has the wild and crazy idea. You ready for this? I mean, this is really crazy. Far, far left. Communist, socialist, everything. You got it? He believes that health care is a human right. Oh. Now, how radical can you be? He has the crazy idea that maybe maybe in the richest country in the history of the world, we should do what every other bloody country on earth is doing. And that is guaranteeing health care to every man, woman, and child in this country. Abdul and I and the vast majority of the American people understand that it is totally unconscionable that we spend twice as much per person on health care as any people of any other country, and yet we have 85 million Americans uninsured or underinsured. Tens of thousands die unnecessarily every year. We pay by far the highest prices in the world for prescription drugs. So not only does Abdul support Medicare for all, he wrote the book on it. And as a doctor, as a physician who sees these things every day, he knows how broken our current healthcare system is. And by the way, and this is important, right now in the Senate, there are 4 Republicans who are doctors. I want at least one doctor in the Democratic caucus to stand with us. But it is not just a broken and dysfunctional healthcare system that Abdul is going to work with us on to fix. Abdul understands that our economy today is rigged, that we have more income and wealth inequality than we've ever had in the history of our country. Now, remember when we were all in school, we studied the Gilded Age. Remember that? Rockefeller and Carnegie and Jay Gould, all these zillionaires? Guess what? Concentration of wealth today is much worse and more extreme than it was during the Gilded Ages of the 1870s, 1880s. Today in America, it is obscene that the top 1% now own more wealth than the bottom 93%. And if you think that's bad, we have an economy where one person, Mr. Elon Musk, today owns 3 times more wealth than the bottom half of American households. How insane is that? And Abdul understands that the children of Michigan and Vermont and America are the future of this country, and it is not acceptable that we have the highest rate of childhood poverty of any major country on earth. That the seniors of this country built our economy, fought our wars, raised us, and that 1 out of 3 seniors should not be struggling economically in the richest country on earth. And Abdul understands the insanity that in a country as wealthy as this, the economists tell us that it is likely, unless we change it, that our children will have a lower standard of living than we have. But it is not just healthcare and the economy. I do not have to tell the people of Detroit that Donald Trump has it wrong when he thinks that climate change is a hoax. we are experiencing year after year the hottest weathers that we have ever seen, record-breaking temperatures, Europe, all over the United States, and now here in Detroit, you have been breathing the air that comes from those forest fires. Abdul understands that we can create millions of good-paying union jobs as we transform our energy system away from fossil fuel to energy efficiency and sustainable energy. And we're going to do that whether the oil companies like it or not. And let me tell you another issue that Abdul has talked about a lot and understands very well. And he understands that artificial intelligence and robotics are the most transformative technologies in the history of humanity. They will impact every man, woman, and child in our country and eventually throughout the world. And what Abdul understands is that if we do not aggressively intervene, these technologies, which are pushed by the wealthiest people in America, Musk, Bezos, Zuckerberg, Ellerson, and others, if we don't push back, these technologies will result in the destruction of millions and millions of good-paying jobs. They will eviscerate our privacy rights. They will undermine our democracy and negatively impact the mental health and well-being of our kids. And by the way, I've talked to a Nobel Prize winner who worries that if AI becomes smarter than humans, which is a pretty low bar, it could become independent of human control and threaten the very existence of humanity. Abdul understands that and will work with me to make sure that AI and robotics work for all of humanity and not just for a handful of the wealthiest people in the world. And Abdul has the crazy idea that maybe in the richest country on earth we should have the strongest and best public education system in the world. We need teachers who are well paid. We need a culture that respects education. In New York City, Mayor Mamdani is moving to make child care free. We should do that all over America. And when we ask ourselves why AIPAC and these other super PACs are pouring so much money into Michigan, it has everything to do with the fact that they understand that Abdul and I and the vast majority of the American people want a foreign policy which is based on morality and decency. Like any country, Israel had the right to defend itself against a terrorist attack. But it did not have the right to go to war against the entire Palestinian people. It did not have the right to kill more than 73,000 Palestinians and wound over 170,000, the vast majority of whom were women, children, and the elderly. It did not have the right to destroy virtually the entire infrastructure of Gaza, the schools, the health facilities, the water systems, wastewater plants, the electric grid, which a civilian population depends upon to survive. It did not have the right to destroy or damage 92% of all of the housing in Gaza. In other words, it did not have the right to commit genocide. But it is not just Gaza. Not just Gaza. Israel did not have the right to escalate its violence and annexation of the West Bank while the world's attention was focused elsewhere. And Abdul understands maybe the most important political issue, and that is we are not going to bring about the changes that the American people need and want unless we fundamentally reform a corrupt campaign finance system. You know, in my small state of Vermont, we have town meetings. People come together every year to argue about how much they want to spend on the roads and on the schools and other local needs. And at the end of the meeting, the moderator asks for a vote, and people get one vote. One person, one vote. And that, to me, is what democracy is about. One person, one vote. Democracy is not billionaires buying an election in Michigan or anywhere else. And that is why not only do we need to overturn this disastrous Supreme Court decision on Citizens United, we need to get super PACs out of elections and move to public funding of elections. So, brothers and sisters, the entire country and the world are looking at you right here in Michigan. And what they are asking of you is to stand up for democracy. And I would say tonight to people who may be watching this who do not agree with everything that Abdul believes, and that's fine. We have differences of opinion. But this is not just what Abdul believes. This is whether or not the richest people in the country can buy an election. So they got the money, that's clear. They have unlimited amounts of money, but we have something that they don't have. We have a vision as to what this country can become. And we have the people. And like all great struggles, change never takes place from the top on down. It's always from the bottom on up. When working people stand together, when we refuse to let Trump and his friends divide us up by the color of our skin or where we were born or our sexual orientation. When we stand together, there is nothing that we cannot accomplish. So we've got a little bit over 2 weeks in this election. Let's go out on knock-on doors. Let's make the phone calls. Let's bring our friends and family to the polls for the sake of America, for the sake of democracy. Let us win this election. Thank you. Thank you. And now, it is truly my honor to introduce to you a longtime friend of mine, somebody who is holding the banner high in the fight for economic, social, racial, environmental justice, somebody who's taken on the whole damn world. Please welcome the next United States Senator from the state of Michigan, Abdul El-Sayed.
Y'all too kind. Thank you. So first and foremost, I just want to thank all of the incredible speakers who came before me. Y'all know that there is a fighter out of the 13th district named Donovan McKinney, right? And we're going to send him to Congress, right? And of course, the woman who needs no introduction, who's been fighting that fight here in Michigan for way too long and fights that fight better than almost anybody, our Congresswoman Rashida Tlaib. The Dean of Working People, the President of the UAW, Shawn Fain. An incredible fighter I got to meet back in 2018 when we were fighting that fight, who's been leading that fight on the national level, the incredible Congresswoman from the Bronx, Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. And of course, the man who has been leading the fight for Medicare for all, who has been the Jeremiah of the Senate, who has the will to stand up and speak the truth even when it's hard, our incredible senator out of Vermont, Bernie Sanders. People's senator. Now, some of y'all might have noticed that we're up against $50 million of outside spending. And so we're getting prepared to do some spending of our own. And so I need your patience with me because we got to do some lines for TV. All right? You see all these cameras? Y'all are about to be the stars of our next ad. So I'm going to bring back out Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, and we're going to do some lines, all right? All right, so when you hear me say the line, all right, y'all got to give me some noise, okay? And there's going to be about a dozen lines, some from me, some from the Congresswoman, all right? But I got to hear some noise like you never heard it before, all right? And I promise you, I got a barn burner of a speech after this. Ready? Trump donors, billionaires, and AIPAC are spending $50 million in lies to buy this election. All right, next one. Are we going to let 50 million in lies steal this election? Hell no. Are we going to let Trump donors, billionaires, and AIPAC lies steal this election? Come on, Michigan, let's do this. Y'all too nice. All right, I'm going to do 2 more, okay? And then the congressman's going to do something. Are you with me? Michigan, are you with me? All right, ready?
All right, we ready for some magic, everybody? The powerful are spending $50 million against a good man that I am proud to know. Billionaires, Trump donors, and AIPAC are spending $50 million disparaging a good man. Michigan, are we going to let big money buy an election? Michigan, this is your moment. Get out and vote. We need you. Michigan needs you. Our country needs you. Your vote matters. Young people will decide this election. They're counting on you staying home, but we will not be counted out. All right, now let's hear this man give a barn burner of a speech. Everyone, let's hear for Abdul El-Sayed.
All right, y'all, let's get down to business. We got some business to cover, huh? Money out of? Money in your? Medicare for? Let them hear him the next town down. Money out of? Money in your? Medicare for? Now listen, y'all. It just shouldn't be this hard. Shouldn't be this hard to afford a second bag of groceries. Shouldn't be this hard to pay your rent. Shouldn't be this hard to believe you could ever own a home. Shouldn't be this hard to stay in your home if you're over 65. Shouldn't be this hard to see a doctor in the richest, most powerful country in the world. Shouldn't be this hard to pay your taxes and know that that money is going to be spent on you rather than to drop bombs on somebody else and their kids. Now, y'all know I was never supposed to run for office. I mean, my parents gave me an 11-letter first name. It's got sounds that come out of parts of people's throats most people don't know they have. Thank you. I like it too. I wanted to be a doctor. I wanted to be a doctor since I can remember, because I would spend my summers, days like this, in Alexandria, Egypt, where both my parents immigrated from. And on the trip there, it'd take me 15 hours to get there, but I would travel 10 years difference in life expectancy. And that was written in the bodies of my family. My grandmother, smartest, wisest person I have ever met in my whole life, never got to go to school. She was the 9th of 14, born and raised in a time and a place where little girls like her were denied that right. She raised 6 kids of 8 to whom she gave birth. 2 died before their first birthday. An aunt and uncle I never got to meet. A sister and a brother that my dad watched pass before he turned 5 years old. My grandmother, when I would be in Egypt, she would remind me, you're not any smarter, any better looking, any more athletic, any harder working than any of your cousins. But you might have the most important gift of all. And I asked her, what's that? She'd tell me, you get to go back to America at the end of the summer. Your cousins have to stay here. And she's right. I had the gift of incredible public education. Got vaccinated against diseases that my aunt and uncle died of before their first birthdays. I got to go to an amazing public university. I got my medical education paid for by the federal government at the NIH. Those are opportunities my cousins could not have dreamed of. And that's the life that America gave me. People like to tell me, oh, you must hate America. In fact, we had one of those come in today. Oh, you must hate America. I love America. Right, USA. But to love America is to be honest with America. See, I didn't have to go 15 hours to travel 10 years difference in life expectancy. I could go 15 minutes from where I grew up, and I would cross the same 10-year difference in life expectancy. And the very same America that gave me all of these incredible gifts denied them from children growing up 15 minutes away whose families had been here far longer than mine. I love America, but I love America enough to be honest about what America owes all of her children. I went off to medical school to learn how to heal, only to realize that it was our healthcare system that too often was part of the problem. I was learning all this physiology about how illness manifests in the body, but watching as my patients were exposed to the pathophysiology of our politics just outside. Air, water, the inability to go to a good school, all things that dictate whether or not you get sick or you stay healthy. And watching people exposed to dirty air and unclean water walk into a healthcare system more eager to spit them out than to take care of them made me realize that I didn't want to work in the healthcare system. I wanted to work on the healthcare system. So, when we all graduated medical school, and yes, I did graduate medical school, and all my classmates went and pursued residencies like normal people to become specialists in medicine, I went into public health. Go public health, yeah, that's right. Hey, if y'all don't like explosive diarrhea, yay, public health, huh? Can't even eat the lettuce. Gotta breathe the, like, wildfire air. And they appointed RFK Jr. to be the health director. You laugh so you don't cry. But, you know, it's no wonder that the dude whose best public health advice is that you got to drink raw milk is overseeing all of this. He said it. I got the opportunity to come home to rebuild the health department in this incredible city after it had been shut down. When the state rolled through here, imposed emergency management, and threw the public health department overboard. The same emergency management that made the decision to change the water in Flint and caused the Flint water crisis. They shut down a 185-year-old health department in a city with a higher infant mortality rate than my father's native Egypt. Now, we rolled up our sleeves. Working together with Detroiters, we rebuilt that department. Put glasses on thousands of kids. Took on some of the biggest corporate polluters in our state. Had every school, daycare, and Head Start tested for lead in the water. Built a program to take on maternal and child health disparities called Sister Friends. And I'm grateful today that that very same health department is being run by a young man who was a fellow of mine way back about 10 years ago. And they're still fighting the public health fight for this incredible city. I got to lead Wayne County's Department of Health, Human and Veteran Services. We put Narcan in vending machines for free. Built a program to provide new small businesses free health insurance. Put air quality monitors all over this county. And when we found out that our county ranked number 8 for medical debt nationwide, we set aside $7 million to erase up to $700 million in medical debt. Here's my favorite. They're like, well, it hasn't erased it all yet. My question is just how much medical debt have you erased? But let's be honest. At the end of the day, so much of this work sits downstream of a politics that leaves us having to clean up the messes that the politicians in D.C. create. And I'm never going to forget the day sitting in my office when this administration froze federal funds. Y'all remember that? Feels like 10 years ago. It was about a year ago. And I'm trying to figure out how to make sure that WIC checks keep going out to put food on the table for moms and babies. How to make sure people don't miss the appointment they've been waiting for at the federally qualified health center. Trying to make sure that vaccines can still go in arms. And I get a notification on my phone that after his long career, our current U.S. Senator Gary Peters is no longer seeking re-election. And I told myself, you know, maybe it's time for us to get a U.S. Senator who actually wants to go and fight. Now, y'all know this is not my first rodeo. I ran for governor back in 2018. It was the first time that orange gentleman had been elected. And I told myself, you know what? I know I might be 32, but let's go big or go home. I went big, then I went home. But we earned 340,000 votes. We got outspent 7-1, but we were 2-1 more efficient than our opponent who won, and 3-1 more efficient than the guy that Donovan's about to kick out of Congress. And we said something in that race I think now has matured, which is that Donald Trump is not himself the disease of our politics. He's just the worst symptom of the disease of our politics. The disease is the system that allows big corporations, billionaires, special interests like AIPAC to buy and sell politicians to do their bidding instead of ours. We have to pay more for all we pay for, get paid less for the work we do, and watch as our tax dollars get misappropriated to drop bombs and buy tanks abroad rather than to invest in schools and healthcare here at home. So we're running a simple campaign. We want money out of? Put money in your? Pass Medicare for? And look, that campaign's taken us to 110 different cities now, 475 public events. And people say the same things. You can be in a living room in Lansing, a church here in Detroit, a VFW hall in Escanaba, a park in Grand Rapids. People ask you the same things. When am I going to be able to afford my health care? Why does it feel like I'm working twice as hard to get half as far? Why do I keep driving all over the same stupid pothole they told me they were going to fix? Why do I pay my taxes to kill other people when my own kid deserves a better school? We got an opportunity in this race to fight for what we need and deserve. It's a pretty crazy thing that in the year of our Lord, 2026, I am the only candidate for U.S. Senate who is not taking a dime of corporate money to run my campaign and never will. And frankly, Detroit, I think that should be illegal. Because ask yourself, if a Democrat is funded by DTE and a Republican is funded by DTE, it doesn't matter which one wins, DTE wins. If a Democrat takes money from Blue Cross and a Republican takes money from Blue Cross, you know who wins? Blue Cross wins. If a Democrat takes money from AIPAC and a Republican takes money from AIPAC, AIPAC wins. So if we're serious about putting ourselves back in the center of our politics, we've got to be serious about getting money out of politics in the first place. We need to stand up to Citizens United and finally end the chokehold that corporations have had on our politics for far too long. Now, you heard from the indomitable Shawn Fain, who reminded us what we can have when we're willing to stand up and fight. Unions built the middle class. Unions built the 40-hour work week. Unions built the weekend. I don't get one anymore, but we built it. Unions built the fact that our kids go to school instead of going to work. And unions can build it again when we're willing to stand with unions. So it is time for us to stand with our union sisters and brothers. We got to pass that PRO Act. We've got to normalize union organizing in every sector of American life. And while we're at it, let's stand up to the corporations who tell us that there's no more money for workers. Let's ban stock buybacks. And I don't know about you all, but I think NAFTA was a bad idea. I think USMCA wasn't much better. And as much as I cannot stand Donald Trump's approach to tariffs, which is, like all things, ham-fisted, chaotic, and self-serving, I actually think there's a role for targeted tariffs to protect our working sisters and brothers in this country. Now, there's no coincidence that in an era where union participation is near an all-time low, we're watching more and more billionaires get spit out of this economy. And I don't know about you all, but I think it's a ridiculous thing that it's easier for a billionaire to make a second $1 billion than it is for somebody to make their first 50,000. Now, y'all know how many billionaires you can make, or how many millionaires you can make for one billionaire? 1,000 of them. And they're out here trying to protect billionaires. I don't know. I'd rather have 1,000 millionaires than one billionaire. But more importantly, I think billionaires ought to pay their fair share. If you tax a billionaire at 8%, you know what they still are? Still a billionaire. Your kids are going to be rich. Maybe you can pay your fair share so the rest of our kids can get to go to good schools and travel functional roads and get good health care. So it is high past time for us to stand up to the billionaire class and tax them their wealth. Now every single thing you got to buy feels like it's getting more and more expensive. And that's because a few corporations get to control every single sector of American life. And they use their power to rig our economy to force us to pay more. They literally pick our pockets so their CEO can make more next year. And I think it is time for us to take on price gouging. I think it is time for us to take on monopolies and oligopolies. I think it is time for us to stand up to corporate power. And I think it is time for us to start enforcing our policies on the books to make sure that no corporation can control prices on us, to pick our pockets to enrich their CEOs and their shareholders. Now, there's one last point. You don't have to go too far from here to see a school that looks like it did 50 years ago. Every time you talk about trying to rebuild a school, they ask you, how are you going to pay for that? I don't know about you all, but I don't pay my taxes to buy another country a bomb or a tank. I pay my taxes so that all our kids get to go to good schools and get good health care. So it is time for us in this country to stand up and decide that we are no longer going to send unconditional foreign military aid to foreign governments. Not Israel, not Egypt, not Jordan, not Saudi Arabia. I want my tax dollars in Michigan. I want good schools in Michigan. I want good roads in Michigan. I want health care in Michigan. I want child care in Michigan. I want my money spent in Michigan. And no, they're going to try and tell you, oh, it must be you hate somebody. No, it is not because I hate anybody. It's because I love everybody. And I just want to be clear about one thing. I love and revere and deeply appreciate Judaism and the Jewish people. And I love and revere and deeply appreciate the Palestinian people and their history and their culture and their tradition. And I love and I revere our kids here at home who deserve better schools and health care. So forgive me if I want to keep our tax dollars here to buy schools and health care for our kids here, rather than send them to a foreign government to foreclose on the possibility of Palestinian self-determination and do genocide and apartheid. It's not about hating anyone, it's about loving everyone. And then let's be clear. I'm proud of the work we did on medical debt. I really am. But medical debt shouldn't exist in the first place. A third of American households holding debt because they went to see a doctor when they were sick. $225 billion of medical debt. That is more than the GDP of half the states in this country in medical debt. And we can wipe away all of that medical debt. And I just want to give you all some numbers here, okay? You can erase all the medical debt in this country for a penny on the dollar. So if you're doing the math, $225 billion, you can erase for what? About $2.25 billion? I want you to think about how much we are wasting dropping bombs in foreign countries. I don't know if you were watching, but the other individual who would like to be the Democratic nominee for the U.S. Senate just took a vote to send more than that to a foreign government last week. We got to be serious, y'all. And then we've got to be serious about the fact that nobody should incur medical debts again in the future. And the best single way to prevent that from happening is to finally meet the unmet promise of America and guarantee everybody health care through Medicare for all. Now look, I know I'm not supposed to run for office. Got the wrong name? Apparently, if you pray like this and not like this, pray the wrong way. I got the wrong profession, but I'm also not going to stand here and tell you what you cannot have and should not fight for. I'm not going to tell you that you cannot have nice things in the richest, most powerful country in the world. I'm not going to tell you that we've got to make peace with the corporations who nickel and dime us at every turn, and that if they want something, we got to go on and give it to them. I'm not going to tell you any of those things. And if you've been watching, they've taken to calling me dangerous. Now, I don't know why you would call somebody who looks like me with a name like mine dangerous. It's an interesting adjective to use. Nobody's ever called somebody who looks like me dangerous. So I just want to ask, if you're a child forced to breathe at the end of a smokestack, you think they think I'm dangerous? Or a kid sitting in the back of the classroom who couldn't see the blackboard, who got that first pair of glasses. If you're that kid, I'm not dangerous. If you're a worker who wants our economy to work for you, I'm not dangerous. If you're somebody sitting in medical debt, wondering what your financial future is because you deign to see a doctor in the richest, most powerful country in the world, if you're that person, I'm not dangerous. If you're somebody who wants government to work for you, I'm not dangerous. I might just be the one person running for U.S. Senate who actually wants to serve you. But if you're the CEO of DTE, you damn well better believe I'm dangerous. If you're Blue Cross Blue Shield shareholders, yep, I'm dangerous. If you're a corporation wanting to buy a politician with their PAC, I'm dangerous. If you're AIPAC and want to send our money abroad, you damn well better believe I'm dangerous. If you're Chuck Schumer and want to keep doling out corporate money to elect people who are going to do your bidding, I am so damn dangerous. But if you're somebody who wants government to work for you, I aim to be the best friend you ever had. Now look, I told you, my childhood taught me just how blessed I was to be on the other side of an accident of history that had me born here. And earlier this month, we commemorated the 250th anniversary of this country. And it's been a moment of reflection, I think, for a lot of us, particularly considering who was president in this moment. Now, they want to sell us a fake, phony sense, a cartoon of what America is. America's no cartoon. America is an incredible place with flaws. A history of Indian removal, chattel slavery, the far too long fight for women's suffrage, the discrimination on who could immigrate here, Jim Crow, segregation. And as you reflect on those past 250, I think it's important for us to ask, how do we make sense of those flaws? America has one incredible gift, and that is the indelible capacity to correct. In this country, we don't make peace with our demons. We exercise them. In this country, we don't rest on our laurels. We fight for better. In this country, we don't ignore a sordid past. We assure a better future. But this country doesn't correct on its own. It's not just some magical trick that just happens, like a magic eraser. That's not how it works. It's because people come together to do the work of correcting. And usually they start out as a small group of people, denied by everyone, ignored, told to go away, marginalized, told it could never be better. And yet those people work, and they organize, and they build. And they build more movement. They talk to more people, and soon enough, the ranks swell. People come together, people from all walks of life, from the unlikeliest sources to the people affected most, building together that movement of people that finally uses the democratic process to correct our ills. And my friends, I share this right now at this moment of our 250th anniversary because we need that correcting right now. We live in the most unequal time in American history. It's easier to make a second $2 billion in this country than it is to make a fair living. Racism still denies too many people access to a good education, good health care, fair housing, clean air, drinkable water. People are still living in fear just because of who they love or how they identify. People are told they're less than because they pray the wrong way or they don't pray at all. And so America is in need of that correcting now. And we find ourselves at the precipice of a moment of correction. I just want you to understand the stakes of this moment. $50 million. $50 million and counting. That's how much the likes of DTE and Chevron and Exxon and Big Pharma and Big Tech and Big Health Insurance and APAC have already spent in this race. And we're still winning. Because friends, what they don't understand is that if all they got is money, we've got the many. And we've got the thing that has corrected every single error in the past and will correct the future. We've got a movement of people coming together beyond our differences to build together what we cannot have alone. We've got each other. Folks who may never understand the lives that one another lead, locking arms together to say that we will not have our future dominated by the likes of your big tech company to put a data center in our backyard. We will not accept the idea that in this country we're going to buy tanks and bombs for someone else when our own kids don't have health care. We will not accept the idea that you can come in and tell us that we cannot breathe clean air when we have all the technology we ever needed. And so I want us to remember that while they will bring all of their money and all of their power, that it is our choice to remain undaunted, that we will not back down. When they tell us we can't have health care, we won't back down. When they tell us that they're going to raise our electricity rates, we won't back down. When they tell us they want to put that data center in our backyard, we won't back down. When they tell us that they want to take our tax dollars and give them there, when we've got kids who need them here, we won't back down. When they tell us we can't have union representation, we won't back down. When the billionaires tell us we can't tax them, we won't back down. And when they bring $50 million into this race, we won't back down. We will continue to do the work of democracy. We will go out there and knock those doors and make those phone calls and be undaunted at the polls. We will build a movement that connects to the love and the joy of the future we deserve rather than the sordid past we've had. And when they tell us that we're not enough, let's remind them that we're all we've ever needed. My name is Abdul El-Sayed. I am running for U.S. Senate. I hope I can earn your support. Thank you so much.